Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're having a wonderful start to the day. We just got the non-farm payroll this morning. Got some bad out of it, got some good out of it too. We're going to talk more on it, but good morning, family. Good to be back. Good to be back. You can see here we had the drop coming into the release. The numbers did come in hotter than expected. It was on a too hot side. But now we're seeing some good being taken out of the report. This puts us in an interesting position, right? Because US payrolls, they were expecting 170K and we surged to 216. So 216,000. But good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning. So understand what's happening. We just got data for everyone who's just coming in. Payrolls jumped to 216,000. We also had wage growth stronger than expected. The unemployment rate held steady at 3.7, which is also a good thing, right? We're not seeing the labor market be obliterated, right? You're not seeing unemployment rate jump to 4%, 5%. So it's holding steady. Wage growth came in stronger, so that's not so good. And then the payrolls itself came in higher, which that's not so good as well. Um, the reason why is because now the Fed rate cut their prospects on cuts. Now it's much dimmer, right? So we're seeing the Fed futures. We're gonna go over everything, but good morning. There's so much happening. I mean, this is the start of the new year. For the last couple days, you've seen the market coming down, right? Reprieving from the top. And now it seems like we're getting a little bit of a bounce based off the report that we got. So we got some key takeaways to go over. We got some data. We got the plays. We got the keys. I mean, how y'all living? How y'all living? Good morning. Good morning, family. You ready to play? Edward, you ready to play? Good morning. How we living, Jermaine? Oh, Jew already know. Good morning. How we feeling, Kavi? Oh, let's go, Marcel. You ready to play? Nakomo, good morning. How you living, Ra? Oh, man. What's up, Scott? Tayana, Titus, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, family. Good morning. So understand we just got the payroll data. Okay, chips are running right now. If you held SMCI, congratulations. It's in the money. You can see NVIDIA, they're up 1.5. SMCI is up 1.6. LRCX is moving. Okay, they're up 740 back to yesterday's highs. The chips are looking good right now. The chips are looking good, but the family's looking better. The family is looking better right now. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see. I mean, this could be a nice reversal. It could be a nice reversal day. Could be a nice reversal. Okay. NVIDIA, the premiums for NVIDIA for next week are extremely high. LRCX, if it gets through 752, you have 766. Okay, BA, they're up 1%. So we're getting some nice movement. We're getting some nice movement so far. Let's see. Let's see the breakdown. Let's see the breakdown. So the NASDAQ is leading. Hold on, let it refresh. Yes, so the NASDAQ is leading at 2%. It's paired up with the S&P 500. Well, Yes, now it's leading on top. So the Nasdaq is up 0.3%, S&P 500 at 0.2%, and Dow Jones just went break even. On the U.S. equity sectors, energy is leading at 0.7%, technology is at 0.4%, communications, financials, and consumer discretionary is up 0.3%. Industrials is up 0.1%, and consumer staples is break even. The sectors that are down on the day is materials is down 0.1%, utilities is down 0.2%, with healthcare, and real estate is down 0.4%. So opposite of what we had yesterday, tech is doing much better. We're getting some reprieve. The dollar started to come down, the yield started to come down. Right, let's check the bond market here. Okay, TOT, they're getting a pop. This is if we can come up to at least 47.32, 47.50, it'll be a nice reversal. It'll be a nice reversal because what we had so far, this is the start of the year. So this is our first green candle on the year. This is why I'm saying it would be a nice reversal if we can hold this. But this is a 1 year, 1 day chart on SPX, right? The S&P 500. And this dashed line, if you look on my screen and you see this dashed line, that indicates the end of 2023 and the start of 2024. But this is an awful start. This is an awful start compared to what we did coming into 2024. Right? Look how many up days we had, right? To start the year with 2 down days prior and then 3 down days to start. So we did what, 9 weeks in a row, and somehow we can go green this week, right? Which will make it 10 weeks. But keep in mind, you don't really start off like this. This is something I want everyone to understand. Like a lot of people have brought up seasonality and like other factors, and it's just like there's only been 2 times in history where you actually had this happen, and I went over it on a morning call, which I'll briefly go over it here too. Right. So you see, this is our current situation for this week, right? So this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh no, if the second was when. So this is Tuesday. This is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and this is today, right? And we're already kind of pulling back there, right? So this is the start of the year because Monday was closed, right? So this is now, but now if we go to, and this is what makes it unique because it only happened twice, right? If we go to, let's see, where is it? 2005, right? Let's go to January, right? If we go to January 2005, this is the move. This is the move that you're seeing on SPX. This is for 2005, right? So that's a huge drop coming into the new year, right? You can see it here. You had 1% down days, right, for both SPX and NASDAQ. This is 2005. We come to 2008. There we go. 2008. right? So remember, this dash line indicates end of a year and the start of a new one, right? And the red dash line are your months, right? So you can see again in 2008, we had the same uh start of the year where you have consecutive down days, and it's setting up like 2008, right? 3 down days to begin, one green day for that Friday, right? And then more decline. But this is crucial because this was the start of the financial crisis of 2008. And again, we're starting to see some pullback here, right? SPX a little lower, LRCX is down 5, Tesla's lower, right? Nvidia slowed. So this is interesting because where the Nasdaq drops more than 1% to start off, 2 days in a row. It started off the year 2 days in a row, down days. And I think like the total return or like it's a negative start of the year after 2 days. So the last time this happened was 2005 and 2008, and it's been a while, right? Since you seen this in January, and they're calling this a lot of economists and Wall Street is calling this a dry January. That's what people are calling it. So this is a very interesting start. Very interesting. Okay, so we're getting some pullback. SMCI drop 4. Let's see. BA is coming down. Oh, SMCI went negative. Okay, NVIDIA pullback. Where's coin? Coin ain't doing nothing. Where's Snow? Okay, Snow is still up 2%. Let's check the banks. JP Morgan is up. Goldman Sachs is break even. Where's AMD? AMD is up 1%. LRCX, they're giving back some. Meta's up almost 1%. So Meta's starting to fly. Where's the cloud names? MDB, CRM. Where's your cybersecurity? Okay, they're all down. KLAC, ASML. Remember, ASML had that bad news. They're positive. MU. Okay, let's see if SMCI holds. Let's see. Coming into your first pretty picture. So you can see here, we use this tool often. We used it throughout the last 2 years, right? For everyone that's familiar with it, good for you. For people who are not familiar with this tool, this is the Fed Rate Monitor tool. It tells you when is our next FOMC meeting. You can see the Fed interest rate decision will be January 1st. So understand this roadmap. Today we got the non-farm payrolls. Next week, we're going to be getting the CPI report. And then by the end of the month, you have the big event. So technically in the next 3 to 5 days, 3 weeks, 5 days, we got time in between before we get Jerome Powell again. So this is going to be a very interesting month, especially the way we started. Meta's starting to run. But already rate the rate hike odds are changing. And it changed based on what we got today, right? The Fed futures are now pricing in a different probability for May, right? So you can see 4.2, 4.5, right? To 5 to 5.2, 4.7 to 5. They are standing at 42%, 46.9, right? So these probabilities of cutting in May, it's not likely no more where they were pricing it in, right? And now this is interesting because now going into June, you're starting to see that they're pricing it in. So 475 to 5, that's a 42.9%. 4.5 to 475, that's also at the same probability, right? Where you can see the previous week, it was much lower. It was 17%. This may imply that the market may be getting ahead of itself, but this is something to keep in mind because this will change how people are placing bets, right? We're talking about the Fed future, so this is the bond market, right? You're talking about big money. So let's see, we're starting to, Nvidia is still holding, SPY's coming up, right? NASDAQ and SPY, they're holding. Let's see, Nvidia got some pullback. Let's see if the premiums went down. Let's see here. Let's see if those premiums are better. Amazon. Okay, Amazon's up 1%. Nvidia. Again, I'm looking at next week's options because the premiums are better. Okay. Let's see, LRCX. Okay. LRCX is decent. Yes. Whereas CAT, so consumer staples are coming up. Dow Jones is holding. CAT is up 1%. Where's DE? DE is still down. Boeing is up 1%. Okay, they're down. Walgreens are still heading down. Let's see. Yeah. NDX. I mean, this is the strongest we've been all week on both the SPX and NASDAQ, right? So this is a daily chart. Again, same thing on the NASDAQ. You have down candles, and this is the only up candle showing strength for the week. Right? So not looking at it for levels. I'm more looking at the chart to gauge strength from what we're seeing. Right? But keep in mind, it's easy to show strength at the bottom. As they would say, buy the dip. Let's see. Stock baby, what do you think about Rite Aid? What what's their ticker again? Let's see. Isn't it Rad? Yeah. Well, one I think pretty much every month we're gonna get an update from their bankruptcy, which they're not showing. But we're gonna get an update from their bankruptcy proceeding. Uh, it's not showing, so I basically don't really think too much about it. I would uh I would take it as it comes. And again, if there's any positive sign, one will be they have been closing stores, and that's in consolidation to getting some of their debt paid off. So you need to continue to see how it carries out and see what's the move from there. Let's see when is up 1.4 Enphase, First Solar. Hey, First Solar is up. Where's Eli Lilly? Anyone has any comments, questions? That was a good question about Rite Aid. And please put it in the public chat. Also, if you have any private questions, you can also at me. So, any comments, any pressing questions? Good morning. Good morning. Okay, finally 4,700 on SPX. So again, the next level up, 4709. We need to get there. 4720 and then 4732. This a really slow move, especially for the data that we just got with the non-farms. So really small move. Walgreens to cut dividend. Sheesh. That's insane. Walgreens will be cutting their dividend. So that means that they'll be kicked off the dividend ETF once they do their rebalancing. But man, I mean, it has some good status as a value name, right? They gave you the dividend. They gave I guess they was part of the dividend aristocrats, but they just ruined it if they cutting it. I don't know if they did that because of the S&P downgrade or the Moody's downgrade on their credit. Because if Moody's downgrade you on your credit, then it will be much harder for them as a company to raise money. And then it's just they can't raise money, they can't be paying that dividend out. So, but that's mind blowing that they're cutting because, like, real deal, they had it for 47 years. 47 years of paying out a dividend, and now they're cutting it. So that's huge. If a company cuts their dividend, it's gonna attract attention. In this case, legitimately after paying their dividend after 47 years of increasing it. 2024, you say that you're cutting it. So that's definitely going to catch attention. How about those lilies? How about those Eli lilies? How about those Eli lilies? Man, that was a beautiful, beautiful trade on Eli Lilly. Again, to start the week, we had the 620s. Eli Lilly topped out at 636. Right, so the 620s are at 1, and it topped out at $16, 1 to 16. And then we rolled up to the 635, and those went in the money. Like, you got to understand, Eli Lilly is a killer. Like, great company. Even before the whole Ozempic and vitamin O, like, it's just a stable biotech as a company. And they have what? 100 years of track record of dividend. You can't beat that. Stable company. Right. But I like to look at the leaders in their fields, in their industry, because this lets me know what the market is buying. I'm not picking and choosing what I want to trade. I'm trading what the market is buying. Okay, we're getting some pullback. We went up to 4,700 on SPX, but now we're down 2. Yeah, I see that, right? We went up to what, 4,702. Now we're underneath there. You see Amazon, where's the chips? LRCX about to go negative. Nvidia. Nvidia is still holding. It's decent. We got next week, so ain't nothing to worry about. Excuse me. If Nvidia can't go higher and it starts to give back all its pre-market action, then I would say be careful because we may go negative. Well, yeah, this Walgreens is wild. Usually if a company gets rid of their dividend entirely, and like I added that to the long term for that reason specifically, I'm gonna let you know right now, I'll sell out. I'm selling out of that name because like we seen a lot of stuff in the last year, and the fact that a company had the dividend for 47 years and now they're they're cutting it full. Yeah, I would expect more downside on that stock because it's gonna attract attention. I don't want to sell that logic to you, but again, Walgreens cut their dividend, they cut it in half. They didn't eliminate it, but they cut it in half, and that's like the end of their four year streak of increases. 47 years is just increases. Understand that. And understand why they're doing that. They can't raise capital, so that means they can't pay out the dividend with the increases. So you're looking at a company that just enters survival mode. They're making sure that they're in a better financial position. Again, they got a credit downgrade. So I don't think you can pay out 9% and then now your corporate bonds is harder to raise money, and it's just not a good sign that they ended this streak of increases. Okay, SPX pop 4706. Okay, let's see if we get going. 4609, 4709. Let's see if we get going here. We need NVIDIA to pop through 490. If NVIDIA could pop through 490, our plays are gonna double right here on live. So let's just see. Let's just see. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, it's not showing here. Where's the let's see. Uh, Earnings, Lilly, their earnings are February 6th. Okay, hold on. February 6th. Okay. Let's see, let's start the year. Start the year, they did good, then we came down towards August. Okay, same thing again. Start the year stable, then we came down. The first two rounds of earnings may be a shock. They have a good one in there for most companies, right? Lilly, like most of the leaders, like Lilly's one of the leaders in healthcare, right? NVIDIA, leaders in the semiconductors. Remember what we did last year on NVIDIA? Just to strike your memory. You remember what we did last year on NVIDIA? That was at the beginning of the year. As looking into Eli Lilly, right? It's currently trading at 611. And like they're a beacon. They're a beacon in the biotech industry, right? Stable company. Uh, their earnings are coming up, something to watch, right? Because they just dropped their newest development, which is a Zepbound, right? So in that earnings, we're gonna get numbers on the Zepbound, which is just they remarketed Marjano. Then they named it Zepbound, which got the approval for weight loss. So it's a game changer when you think about it, right? When we think about the healthcare market, it basically gives a weight loss solution that's now in high demand. And assess a successful product could basically lead to more revenue streams, which can boost their earnings. Regarding growth, like as an add to the long term, Eli Lilly consistently shown its ability to stay relevant in the healthcare field, right? And especially innovate, right? Their track record and R&D is impressive. So that's gonna always position them for future growth. right? Their diabetes care. What else? They got the cancer treatment, right? The Alzheimer's drug that people forgot about, and now the whole weight loss management with Zepbound. So Eli Lilly does present a interesting uh option to get a long call, right? Just based off of the new numbers on Zepbound. Think of it like this. Think of it like this. Eli's Lilly, Eli Lilly's Zepbound and Ozempic is like the healthcare's AI, right? Because it's gonna be game changer to the healthcare industry, right? It's like anyone can change their diet and work out, right? But people rather take vitamin O or vitamin Z to lose the weight, right? So that's gonna. But right now, one thing I would say that would create a bear case to that bull case, right? It's the pricing war. If the governments now start to put strict restrictions and limitations to the pricing, then that can affect Lilly, um, uh, Novio, all the companies that's producing this weight loss drug. But definitely Eli Lilly's a good look. Great question. Oh my, SPX 4720. Next is 4732. I hope that answered your question. I don't know if you're still there. You gotta think about it. It's not just about the potential growth from the new product, but overall, Lilly has a good track record. Okay. SPX pop. See, NVIDIA is close. $488. Where's Qualcomm? Say Qualcomm is up 1.2. They had news. They had news on their chips. That their chips could power the AR and it's a rival to Apple's Vision Pro. I thought Qualcomm was the only one that made the chips for the Quest. So that's interesting. Okay, so the chips are running again. The chips are looking good here. They looking turbo good. Let's see, LRCX is there, NVIDIA. Okay, we cracked 4720. Let's see if we can get to 4732. NVIDIA looks like it wants to fly. Oh, fly away, chip maker. Oh, yeah, we got Eli Lilly, their earnings in February, but before that, to start it off, we're gonna have the banks. So we're gonna get CPI and the banks. JP Morgan, they had their ex-dividend, and then what I think like yesterday was the last day to buy it, right? And then again, we got earnings gonna be next Friday. So we're gonna see where PMIs came in at. Let's see. PMIs. Okay, ISM service PMIs, they miss. Factory orders came in a little higher. Market likes that. Market likes it so far. Decent move. Decent move. But then after that we got Richmond Fed barking. He's gonna speak at 1:30. That shouldn't affect us too much. But it's all about inflation now, right? We got the labor market data now. Like this is why I said it on the morning call. Don't underestimate the market's ability to say, okay, what's next? Right. So now it's all about inflation. Real fickle. Remember, you're dealing with people. Like people are participating in this mechanism where people are buying and selling based on their own self-interest, right? Forget the chart, forget the candles, forget trying to study a candle and study a pattern. I wouldn't put any energy into that because you're dealing with people, right, that are fickle. So the way someone is feeling on Monday, where they may be happy and they want to buy by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they may not be feeling in that same way, right? So you're not going to generate the same pattern, right? So now, based off what we got from the non-farm payrolls, it came in higher and hotter than every economist forecast, but now it's all about inflation and the CPI, right? And then we're gonna get PPI as well on Friday. So that's gonna be a very interesting start into next week. Whereas Apple, so Apple's getting a bounce, nice bounce off the 180 up $2. Whereas Microsoft, they're getting a nice bounce as well. Watch it. SPX is down 6 after hitting 47.20. Right? But look in the video. Look in the video. Still strong, still holding. So this is one that we're gonna have to be patient to let it play out. And again, expect zero. Expect zero. If you're gonna put on a trade and you want it to instantly work, there's some instances where that happens, and most of the time, those are the trades you ruin. You realize that the trades that take a while to work are the better ones. The ones that work really fast, your chances on ruining them is much higher because you're more hesitant to sell because you think it's gonna keep going higher. Right? This is why I implemented one rule that should not be broken, and that's managing two goals. Whether you bought the play for today, tomorrow, next week, 2 weeks down the line, 3 weeks, 4 months, a year out. I don't care if you bought it a year out. At the moment you buy it and it hits your goals, manage to them. Sell, right? Because we experienced trades that went up, we held, went back down, took a while to recover, right? Where we could have sold, repositioned, bought back in, and then sold again. Right. We also experienced trades that we bought immediately and went down and went in the negative, went red, and came back up to profit with more than some. Right. So I say this to say when you get in the trade, number one, don't not put in what you can't afford to lose. That's gonna help you out and help you manage your number one, your emotions better, but then you won't be taking yourself out the market either, right? If you're putting everything into one position, They say putting all your eggs into one basket is never good. I say the same thing. So you gotta manage your money, right? And then once you get in the trade, you have to manage the trade, meaning you should have some goals before you get in there. I don't care what your goals are because everyone's goals in here is going to be different. What I do care about is if you're managing to them, whether it's 20%, 30%, 50%, 60%, 100%, right? Anything above 100%, you're pushing the needle. We have certain trades that go above 100%. If it happens, it happens. Great. But you should have some type of consistent margins that you would like to take on your trades, right? Company that's making 30%, sometimes they may get a product, let's say that has high margins, but is not something that you're gonna change your whole business model on, right? So again, we take the winners, it's great, right? But you also want to be able to set that goal so you know what you're trading to. You don't want to be on that treadmill, the financial treadmill, just running, going faster and going in that loop, not really understanding what your goals are. Stock baby, what would be your biggest recommendation for a 19-year-old? I'm asking for my son building his first online business in terms of management and success. Well, first, congratulations. You have a very motivated child and show signs that you did well. Um, well, I would ask with what business in general? Okay. Well, step one is to have a product. And when I mean by a product, one that's reasonably easy for you to sell. I don't know if you're going to be helping him, right? But now you said in terms of management, the management of online business is terribly difficult. I'm gonna just let you know. Um, I would get some advice because it's something that is new and there's a lot of detail. And the number one thing is to get the right product. The number two thing is to get on a platform that's thriving where the customers are already there. Like, for example, if he was to like resell clothing, right? So he would want to get on a platform that the customers are already there, like Amazon. And now dealing with success, success is an interesting topic because the number one most challenging thing that you're going to experience with success, believe it or not, is self-sabotage. That's the number one thing you're gonna have to fight off once you reach that milestone of success. And everyone in here, if you haven't already, you will experience success, but you will also be fighting self-sabotage at the same time, whether you're aware of it or not. I'll give you an example, right? Some of the kinds of thinkings and mindsets that drive self-sabotage. Let's say, for example, right, you have great respect for your father, right? And when you were growing up, your father was a hardworking man, right? He was a janitor. Let's say your father earned 70,000 a year, right? So subconsciously to you, since that's someone you look up to and respect, to you subconsciously, that 70,000 is like a cutoff because you respect your father and you regard your father as an intelligent and capable man. So subconsciously, the story that you tell yourself is that, well, if my father was an intelligent, great man, hardworking man, he did whatever he can to raise the family, he made 70,000. So psychologically, you might have that as a blockage to say that this is all you should ever amount to because you're no better than your father. You come from his DNA, you come from his teachings, you respect him. So you don't want to exceed him subconsciously. Right? I'll give you another example. You might have a form of self-sabotage that comes from guilt, which is to say, if you grew up poor and then you started earning very well, you feel like guilt. I'm just being real here. Like, especially if you feel like you exceeded your peers, you almost feel as, maybe it was by accident, or you start feeling imposter syndrome, which is really real, right? Which is to say that because you were growing up, you were taught that, black people have a certain type of stereotype or what have you. When you find that you exceeded the average black person economically, you look around and all these persons in your income bracket is now white or they're Asian, you obviously feel like you don't fit upon your visual inspection. And then you start to think, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't really be in this neighborhood. They say a lot of people, they grow up in poor neighborhoods. The moment they get money, it's what you call desertion, right? They leave that area to go to another area that's more affluent, right? And it's called imposter syndrome, which is a form of self-doubt. And it arises from uh reasonable doubt. Like when I was in college, less than 2% of the black population, and particularly sets of courses I was taking, I would be in an electoral 300 and people would be like, no black folks. And this is like the kind of psychological thing that would drive you to have some self-doubt, right? Because you're looking around, you're like, oh, where's my brother? Where's my sister? Where's my friend? Where's the cousin? You see what I'm saying? This is a source of self-doubt because it comes from your ethnicity. It may even come from your height. It may come from your parenting. It may come from your income. It comes from all sorts of things, and it can even come from the negative things that your parents said to you. It can also come from jealousy of your sibling. It goes deep. It goes deep. But when dealing with success, the hardest thing that your son is gonna have to deal with, man to man, I don't know if he's listening right now, is going to be self-sabotage. Once you get success, the idea is to defend it and keep it and hold it down. Same thing with a trade. When we get into a trade, sometimes when we get into a good trade, we think the market is going to keep going and we'll buy higher and for more, right? This is why I developed the strategy of roll up for less, right? We roll up for less because technically I want to defend my profits. I don't want to, I just got out of a trade. I don't want to put in more to make less. I want to defend those profits that I just made. So it's just the idea of defending yourself from self sabotage, whether it's a business or trading. I hope that helped. NVIDIA, NVIDIA is trying to go. NVIDIA is trying to go, y'all. NVIDIA is trying to go. Let's see where LRCX. Let's see. LRCX. LRCX for next week is looking decent. If NVIDIA could get above 492, I say 495 on a day. And the 495s are super cheap right now. They're they're super cheap. Hold on. It's a super lotto. Expect zero because they're super cheap. Expect zero. You have so much wisdom. You run several villages at an elder at your young age. Well, quite thank you. And this is being around the community. This is also, you know, being aware, being alive. As a young kid, I also grew up in poor areas, right? Whereas a kid at 8 years old was able to be careless and free, I had to be sharp and vigilant. And it transferred over into maturity as I got older. And I was able to really break things down and understand people, understand myself, understand the battles that I had to get over, right? So this is something I want to share with others. It's like the biggest fight is going to be fighting yourself. Like trading. Like think about it as like, okay, most trades we're fighting ourselves. Like when I put the trade on the lotto channel, most of the time, I gotta check the chart. I gotta check the levels. Oh man, the money, this, like you're creating the problems for yourself, right? It's like it was a time where, I wasn't doing good, right? All of us get through ups and downs. And, there was a time where, you know, the process of success is the same in all endeavors. Like it starts with number one, and it's the sincere drive. I tell you that it's the sincere drive. The process is always better than the outcome or the destination. Do y'all understand that? Like when you first fell in love, when you first met your match and your person, the person that you deserve, that's supposed to be with you for entirety, that first time was the best, right? That process of getting to know the person was better than after you knew them. Like, but do you see how it works? And it's the same thing with anything in life. The sincere drive to be successful at something, like you may have been more quote, of course, like hey, I want to be successful, but there's always a psychological self-challenge behind it, right? It's like it's the self-sabotage, like smoking, right? Some people smoke, right? The smoking portion, depending on what you're smoking. I don't know if you're on the live trying to trade stocks on crack. I don't know. I don't know if you're high off the cracker trying to trade Nvidia, Eli Lilly, but literally smoking dependency, like it's a form of self-sabotage. And I want y'all to understand that self sabotage is always rooted in a form of self hatred. I hate to say that because I'm not suggesting that anyone in here hates themselves, but I'm actually suggesting you may not know what you're doing. You may not be able to verbally tell me. Like if we get on a one-on-one, you may be able not to verbally tell me, but if you tell me your actions, I can break it down for you. Because self-sabotage or self-destruction manifest in many forms. And it might manifest in like example, like I'm going deep into the whole we trade these names, right? The cloud name, cybersecurity, but that's a on ongoing field, right? So for us to be able to get trades and stuff in them, I have to continue reading up on the new technologies, the policies and everything. But I took a break because I was like, yo, the last 3 hours I'm just reading nonstop. So I took a break and I found myself late night scrolling through reels, right? Trying to be entertained during the break, even though I would have been better off sleeping. So all the information that I just read can soak in rather than me scrolling, taking in new information, and it comes from in the form of, sometimes you got an important phone call, business phone call, and let's say, you can't find your phone. That's subconscious self-sabotage. You didn't lose your phone on purpose, or did you? You didn't lose, your phone on accident, or did you? It's self-sabotage. You know the important phone call is coming up. Now the phone is missing, or you're not picking up. You're scared. That's self-sabotage. You see what I'm saying? Like, let's say in another situation, let's say you didn't brush your teeth or you're overeating. All of these things you're doing to yourself. Or let's say you were supposed to work out but didn't, right? You know you were supposed to work out but you didn't, but now you're overeating. That's literally self-sabotage. And these are the things that, you know, you do to yourself, and it all roots from an instinct to destroy the self. Like we're living many people around the world, but a lot of people want to adopt the American culture. And this is something that, like, I want to say it in a certain way. Like, the American culture is very decadent, right? And this is why, like, success begins with a sincere interest. And when I say a sincere interest, but it's very rare to inspect our minds and say, hey, we need to stop this because it's not good for ourselves. Why am I doing this to myself? It's very rare that we inspect ourselves or inspect our minds or self-reflect. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this negative behavior? What is the root of this negative behavior? Why am I feeling a lack of self-esteem? Why am I feeling that I'm hesitating on this trade? What is this rooting from? Why do I feel a lack of self-belief? I've been trying so hard. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But the sad reality is that those ideas usually don't come from us. And that's the truth. Again, the 495s, they're already running. They're up 65%. If you want to manage there, you can. If not, remember, expect zero. This is a daily lotto, so they will expire today, but they're already up 65%. 70%, they're almost up $1. So again, you almost got a double on those. You almost got a double. Let's see. Let's NVIDIA manage. I fat fingered. Oh well. Again, the video is almost a double manage to goals, quick trade, fast trade, small, right? Decent trade. You could load the small ones a little bit different, right? So take that. You still got NVIDIA for next week. That's almost up $1, so it's decent. It's decent. But that's the sad reality. Let me tell you our story. With my cousin, right? My cousin Anthony. Um, and this is the honest truth. So it's not like I'm, shitting on my boy, but I have a cousin Anthony, and he is a scared individual. Like he's not like naturally a scared individual. He's a scared individual because he grew up with a helicopter mom. I'm gonna be honest, my auntie is a helicopter mom. Anyone knows what's a helicopter mom? Put it in the chat. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that, right? Well, in a way, he was never allowed to take risks in his youth as a kid. Like even when we had bikes with the pegs on the back. Y'all remember the bikes with the pegs? Y'all know what I'm talking about. We're not that. Y'all know the bikes with the pegs in the back. Well, I took my training wheels off because all the kids had the pegs. I wanted the pegs. And the kids were standing on the pegs, letting the bike just ride, letting the wheels turn while he was still on training wheels. I would always remember where it was like his mom never wanted him to scrape a knee. And the reason why I called her helicopter mom as I grew older is because she was always there hovering over him. She was always there hovering over him. And that's why I said, okay, like that's a helicopter relationship. And that's too dangerous for my cousin Anthony. Because she will be like, oh, don't do that. Oh, that's very dangerous, Anthony. You're gonna get hurt, Anthony. So what does that translate into? As he gets older and evolves into a man, her voice is in his head saying, you're not strong enough. You're not brave enough. Don't take that risk, Anthony. You are going to get hurt, Anthony. You are going to suffer. And that voice operates subconsciously in my cousin's head. And the worst thing is that the lack of self-esteem did not come from him, but rather came from her. So much of who we are now, mind you, I always tell you to take responsibility. So we're at an age where we can, select our beliefs and select our emotions and select our mindset. But so much of this comes from others who raised us and taught us their values and their beliefs at an early age. For example, my mother was a very scared individual, and to this day, my mother is still very scared. She My grandmother too, they want me to take them to see my grandmother's sister. She's in the hospital right now. And we arranged the day, we scheduled it, and then they called me yesterday, saying how the weather is gonna be bad on that day. And I'm listening and I'm like, well, we're still going because I'm like, you need to see your sister, regardless of the elements. Like, that's family. Like, I need to see her, you need to see her. And she's like, yeah, but I don't want to be nervous. I'm like, you sound nervous now. The fact that you're calling me, telling me about something that's 5 days from now, You're projecting the nervousness out now. And my grandma stopped and she started laughing. She stopped and started laughing and said, "You're right. I didn't even realize it." You know, my stepfather was a very fearless individual. My father was a very fearless individual. I remember the radical difference in the way they live, think, and behave as a child. And that's why I'm very blessed to be, you know, and thankful that I have both of them to influence me, because I would be out of balance if I just had one person raising me as a child. The fact that I had a whole village there to teach me certain things, I'm very thankful. I'm very, very thankful. At what, like, got out of high school at 16, and like I was young out of high school, so I was like, I want to learn how to drive, right? So I asked my mother, I was 16, like, hey mom, I would like to get my permit so that I could start, whipping it, learning to drive. You know what my mom said? Guess what my mom said? Just guess what she said. Seen the video. Oh, the video is still strong. Guess what she said, y'all? Again, we just having a good talk, good chat, watching the market. Again, we're getting banks breaking up, chips are breaking up. Okay, when I say breaking up, that means they're going up, they're rallying. Okay, and literally, my mom was like, "No," said, "You're not ready." Yes, that exactly. That's exactly what she said. She said, "You're too young." She said, "You're too young," which was not actually or technically true in New York. You got kids, you got 10-year-olds breaking into Kias and stuff and trying. But she said, "Hey, you're too young, you know, and you're just." She started telling me all these negative things that can happen. Oh, it's dangerous. You know, boys get into car accidents. You can take the bus. I got the Metro card for you. All these negative things out of her primary mindset, which is pessimism and fear. So then my stepfather was there and he heard me say this. And you know what he said? He grabbed me and said, "Look in the drawer." I'm like, "For what?" I'm shocked. He's like, "Look in the drawer." So I look in the drawer. I open it. It's a set of keys. He said, "Grab the keys, young man. Let's get in the car." So y'all know me. I'm hype. But hype. Hopped in, got the keys, hopped out of bed, got the got dressed, right? Got in the car. We get in the car, and he doesn't even like ease me in. Like he don't like he don't even explain anything to me. There's no training wheels. There's no He's like, "Get in the driver's seat. You want to drive? You're gonna take in full responsibility. Understand that this is a machine and this can kill you and kill everyone in the car." And he's like, "Get in the driver's seat." He's like, "I'm gonna tell you when to turn. I'm gonna tell you when to turn, when to pull over, how to park, right?" He's like, "Put it in park. This is called idling, right? Once you move it into drive, the car will now move forward on its own." He's like, "So put your foot on the brake first." He's like, "Remember to always put the foot on the brake first before you start to drive." You know, those are like the brief things that he just ran through, but he really didn't give me like a full breakdown or tell me how to do it. He just got in the passenger seat and told me, "Drive, put the key in, turn it over." In the back of my mind is like, it's exhilarating. I'm thinking like, whoa, we're really about to get into this. This is great. Like, I'm at the same time, I'm also terrified. I'm like, yo, I never done this before. This man barely gave me any instructions. Like, he just threw me into the water. So, I was able to turn the car on and it's in park. And he said, okay, well, take it out of park, put it into drive. I take it out of park, I put it into drive. I don't even have my feet on the brake or the gas. I was just so excited. Like my feet was like in the middle. Like and at this point, the car started moving forward without me having to hit the gas. So I'm freaking out. He's saying, go ahead, hit the brake, hit the brake. And I hit the brake. I noticed how I can control the car. So then that gave me a little more confidence, right? We started moving, and I'm basically learning on the job, as I would call it today. You learn on the job, boy. And I'm learning in a fairly fast-paced environment, which to me, I learned that I can learn that way. I can learn under pressure. I can learn while I'm exhilarated. I can learn where I'm happy and I'm feeling nervous at the same time. The feeling of anxiousness and fear, that was like immediate for me. And it was an unfortunate thing because that was going to happen regardless. Because when you get in a car, you have a high probability that you can crash, right? Or anything like that, right? But this man was calm. Just picture that in your head, right? Me as a kid, and then my father there, and he's calm as hell, and he taught me you have to remain calm in areas or times where you're nervous. And he taught me that sometimes you just have to jump into the water. And that really stuck with me. And he also taught me that my mom has offered some BS sometimes, and that her feminine attitude is not for me as a man, being able to stand, protect, and lead, that I need to have a mentality that was being able to just jump in the water and remain calm, even though I'm in a anxious, fearful environment, right? So I was able to select a voice to operate in my mind subconsciously, which is why I always been the one to lead, right? I always been the one to take the leap, right? It's like if you're just standing there looking back, back looking, but never get in the water, is because you're a terrified person. And the things that we don't have control of when we are a child transfer overs when we're adult. It's like some of us may have underlying issues, and we think it's the trading, we think it's stock baby strategy, and we don't even realize, yo, we're scared of risk. We're risk adverse. I was told my whole life, this is dangerous. Don't do that. Don't go that way. You're going to suffer. You're going to get into pain. You're going to be hurt. That transfer overs now when you take a trade. You lose, you go in it with the idea that you're gonna win and you're gonna make money, and now you lose your money, you're scared to take that risk again. That transfer over into trading. You're hesitant to take risk now. Oh man, if you take series of losses, if you take a lot of losses now you're even more afraid to put the next trade on. This is the problems we deal with as adults, right? The problems we create for ourselves, for us. If we go through our problems, we will see that they're created by ourselves. It's all of what we go through, all of us. No one is exempt from this in here. This is what unifies us, because what happens to us is all the same. How we respond to it is different, right? The financial issues, we create that for ourselves. The things we go through, the psychological trauma from our own decisions, we create it for ourselves. Think about it. We're going through a bad romantic relationship, right? What happens? You decided to lose your cool and not exercise emotional intelligence, or you refuse to accept the other person. That's what really happens. Most people refuse to accept who the other person is, and everything we experience is generally due to ourselves. This is why you have to realize that your eyes for a moment, you know, sometimes there's been times, especially learning, I thought my life was over, but remember what you went through. This is why self-belief is a big thing, right? I have a saying, your last trade should not affect your next trade. This week, I called the SPX 4680s, right? I recycled the 4680s twice. Everything's in a lotto channel. It's like transparent for the last, I don't know how many days, more than 500, right? It's a lotto, but I called the SPX 4680s. They was they went up to like 20%, like 35% around there. You could have took that, right? But that's not my that's for the SPX play. That's not my goal on an SPX play, right? I like almost a dollar for a return on SPX play, right? And I thought we really was gonna drop underneath 4,700, where the 4680s would have worked perfectly. But what happened? We actually popped up, right? We popped to like 47, what was it? 47 20 or around there, right? We popped to right, I think it was 47.20 or 47.55, but we popped, right? SPX popped. So what happened? I rolled up into the 4700s, right? But a mindset of fear, anxious, self-doubt would have let the last trade, that last loss, conquer you. And you wouldn't have even been able to think about the 4700s because you're still stuck on the loss from the 4680s. And that's your mind playing a trick on you. Because what happened when we stepped into the 4700s? So that was for the minutes. That was the day for the minutes. What happened? The minutes came out. It was a nothing burger for the first couple minutes. And then we dumped, right? In the 4700s, those 4700 puts went past 100%, right? So we got our money back for the 4680s and then some. And this is what I'm saying. Your last trade shouldn't affect your next trade. Our problem is that we create these problems in our mind, and it's created by us. The financial issues that you're going through is we created ourselves. And that's the worst thing about being human. That's because your first initial defense in your mind is to protect yourself. So you're going to think negative first before you think positive. Like we're wired that way. But that's the worst thing about the human condition is that we tend to exaggerate, particularly our problems, whereas we could exaggerate our self-beliefs. Do you feel me? Like we could exaggerate our own capability and then like practice it. You know what I'm saying? Like one day, like I could pull up to the Discord and say, "Yo, we're gonna trade and we're gonna be bigger than Richard Dennis." If you don't know who Richard Dennis, research him. All right, the turtle traders. Right, I can even say, yo, I'm gonna be Michael Jordan in the basketball game, and then go out and practice at that level and suggest that it can be done. Y'all know I love boxing. I'm gonna get in that ring and say, yo, I could beat Floyd Money Mayweather. I'm a beat Floyd in a boxing match and then go out and perform in that boxing ring with the same level of discipline and focus that would suggest that it's possible. You see what I'm saying? Instead of exaggerating our capabilities and using that exaggeration to perform better and to apply it to ourselves at a higher level, what do we do? What do we really do? What do you really do? We tend to over exaggerate on our problems. The moment the trade don't work, oh, it's not working. Oh man, even if you start coughing, you wake up with a cough. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. Am I like 100%? 100%. Nvidia is flying right now. Again, way past $1. All layers of Nvidia is flying. Let's see, SMCI. All layers in Nvidia is flying. You can manage to goes. Can manage to goes. Hold on, give me a second. Put it. Manage to goes. And mind you, y'all see this live. I'm here. I'm speaking to you. I'm in the moment. I'm in the present. We're talking about good stories, good things, right? Things that we deal with. My childhood stories, but this is the truth. Like, am I lying? Y'all start coughing and you like, oh my gosh. Either you or someone say, oh, you got it. You, oh, you're dying. Like, but these are often beliefs that come from childhood. And now, young men or older men, grown men, you know, I'll tell you another story. Y'all probably gonna be laughing at this one, but shit, I ain't scared to talk about it. When I was a young man, I was in a boys group, and um, you know, the older guy came in to talk to us about I don't know if there any virgins in here. Close your eyes. I mean, close your ears. Um, they came to talk to us about safe sex when I was in high school. And keep in mind, I was fairly young in high school, and when I graduated, I was still young, right? So I was a virgin at that time. I ain't scared to say it. And he was explaining how you can get like certain STIs and stuff, like and certain STDs, like herpes and stuff. And you know, if you ever been in a health high school class, y'all know how it is. They start showing you those pictures. Truth be told, I was traumatized, right? I didn't really want to see any photos of that. I'm gonna be honest. I saw the photos. I was like, oh no, 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 no. This is something that I never want. Like the health teacher totally traumatized me. And I think that was his goal. Now that I'm older, I think that was his goal. And so I was like, I'm always gonna use protection. And kid you not, maybe like one time in my youth, all the men in here go through it. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't use protection. And then for literally every day, 2 weeks after that, I was convinced that I was going to die. I was convinced for that one time that I caught everything in that teacher's book. I mean, all those photos came to my back of my head and I was gonna die. And of course, I got a health check. My heart was beating, and the lady was like, "Oh, you're fine." And I say this to say we exaggerate on problems. That one time I was okay, I thought I was going to die. I got the worst stuff out there. Whatever the worst thing is, that's what I got. That's what I was thinking in my mind. But that's how human beings are. We exaggerate the problem. We're really good at dramatizing things. Oh, we're sick. Oh, we're gonna die. It's always to the extreme. Okay. And that just shows a lack of emotional maturity, and it shows a lack of control of your mind. Kanye got that self belief and manifested it. Exactly. Exactly. 100% through it all, through the wire, through it all. He manifested it. You see what I'm saying? And Kanye is one of those individuals that he don't he don't control his, he says what comes to mind, regardless if it ain't popular. If you don't control your mind, family, your mind controls you. If you don't control your mind, family, your mind controls you. If you hesitated on the video, understand we just bag on a video, on live, real calm and simple and cool. You know why? Because we're in control of our mind. I'm speaking to you about it, so you're aware of it. If you don't control your mind controls you. And it might sound unduly complex and deep, but the truth is that at some level, our mind is split and we're separate from it. Which is to say, well, how is it that your mind can control you if you are your mind? Well, there's obviously a separation. There's a conscious mind and there's a subconscious mind. And you have to be able to control both of them. Those who are careful and successful, we tend to be, or shall we say, hyper conscious, right? But it's also a clear indication that we don't have control of our mind. And what happens when stress arises from living outside of the present, which is to say that most problems and anxieties come from either thinking about the negative past that we can't change or anticipating unfortunate outcomes in the future. Most of them that which never comes to fruition. Like you probably fight with your girl because you're gonna head out and she's thinking you're gonna do something bad. Not saying that you're an angel or anything, but this is what I mean. We're anticipating unfortunate outcomes in the future, which may never happen. You may just go to watch the game or something, and vice versa. It's needless to say, when we talk about it in terms of trading, you're projecting your loss from your last trade on the next trade. You're projecting your last loss onto the new trade, meaning you're stressing in advance when you really should be careless and carefree, because we're dealing with money. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. There's opportunities. I just saw like 50 remote websites, and it just, money's everywhere. There's banks on every corner, and there's cars. Like you're living in an economy, right? It's like, why are you stressing in advance when you should really be careless and carefree? And mind you, I come from an area where my life depended on how I reacted to things. Like where some 8-year olds were careless and carefree, I had to be sharp and vigilant. I'm saying be realistic and also deal with your problems as they come. Why you think in medieval times they made shields and armor? Did y'all ever look at the armor? The armor will protect the head. It will protect the shoulders, the chest, the arms. Your hands are free if you had to hold a weapon, right? The thighs, the knees, the feet. The armor will protect the front of your body, but there was no armor to protect the back of your body. Needless to say, you shouldn't run from your problems. That's why the back didn't have no armor. You face your problems head on. No over exaggerating on them, not thinking about the things you can't change and you can't control. I'm saying be realistic. Deal with your problems as they come and don't create them in your mind. Oh, mine, NVIDIA. NVIDIA is flying. If you held, that's like what, 400% on the video? It's like 400%, 500%. Beautiful trade, beautiful trade, beautiful trade. Again, great management, great session. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everyone is like understanding this. Like understand like what happens to all of us is the same. It's how we respond to it that makes the difference. It makes the large difference, and my advice for all people, particularly the young men, great question that you asked, is to protect yourself from vice. That's the greatest advice, literally to protect yourself from vice. Ignore all vices, protect yourself from all vices, and ultimately that will protect your pocketbook. A lot of our success is due not only to what we do right, but to what we can avoid doing wrong. And for young men and grown men in here too, your inclination to engage in vices will significantly impact your success. Listen, and is you may have to be stern and you may have to be disciplined. You may have to maintain the upper hand in a relationship, upper hand in a business, upper hand in personal friendship, upper hand in family, romantic. It doesn't necessarily come from being ruthless, but it might come from choosing to display certain emotions and choosing to withhold certain emotions and not engage in certain behaviors. A lot of success is due not only to what we do right, but to what we can't avoid doing wrong. So on that note, family, we're at the bridge. We crossed it. Had some good data from the non-farm payroll report. We had some good talks. Uh, and we also had some very good plays that you saw on live. But the next time that we will have some data that will shake the market up will be at the turn, which is next week. We're gonna get the CPI, and then by the end of the month, we will be back at grandma house. I mean, we just left grandma house. We're gonna be right back. Yes, we will be back for FOMC January 31st, the end of the month. Okay, so understand, man, the growth has to be intentional because time waits for no man. And like kids grow rapidly, understand that you're not going to stay small forever. And this is why I want to plant this seed now so it can grow in your mind. Okay. Understand, man, good seed will always grow. You put a plant in some good soil, good sunlight, give it the right nutrients and water, man, that mother it's gonna grow just like a baby. You put it in the right environment, you speak the right words to the baby, feed it the right food, that is gonna grow. You see what I'm saying? So get it out your head, get those self the self-doubt, get the fearful doubts, get the other people's beliefs out of your head that small things don't grow. I don't know who taught you that, so I got to teach you differently. So I love it. Woo! $18 to $130. Oh my. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. We're gonna end self-doubt, family. This is how we're gonna start off the year. I mean, this is different. We like to be different. Everything we do is absolutely different. The way we trade is different, and our mindset is different. And to be able to elevate to another level, we have to move differently. So we're gonna have fun. I'm gonna try to keep it as fun as possible. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the day. Someone asks, what can they do for me? Please pray for me. Pray for Aki. Pray for your brother and sister. And be prepared to never have doubt in your long term. And understand that your future self is looking at you right now. So don't F it up. Get ready. Remain nimble and be excited. Because as we go through these 12 months, it's going to be up and down and up and down. And you're going to have a roller coaster experience. So I hope you're ready. And I hope you're ready to end this self doubt because at the end of that, it's beautiful. So I love you all. Get ready for a beginning. It's game time. It's 2024, beginning of a new year, and we're growing into it, baby. So it's a real pleasure being here with you folks today and every day. But that is the day. I love you all. Amor Fati. God bless you all and peace. Ah, woo, Nvidia, Nvidia.